It's time for Damn Good Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Shelby Clement. From corporate executive to CEO to entrepreneur and the founder of Damn Good Marketing Live. This podcast is all about digital marketing, building a business you love, and creating a brand that's authentic to who you are. So if you're ready for honest, raw marketing conversations that you will not find anywhere else, let's freaking get it. Welcome to Damn Good Marketing Podcast. We're about to dive into your story. What have you done? Where are you going? All the things. Are y'all excited? Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Everybody, mom and dad are here. John and Connie, if you've never met them, they own Connie's Impressions, CI Sports in Hammond, and it's evolved over the last, 35, 4, 7, how many years?
Going on 33 years.
Okay, I was close. 33, we're going to say close. Okay, we're going to deep dive back where you started and where we are now. So, Dad, want to go first? Tell them what did you do? You obviously didn't do this forever. Where did you start?
Okay, I was a dairy farmer. Had a thriving business. Connie had a beauty shop, thriving beauty shop, really good, super busy, both of us. I had dump trucks and dozers. I was busy there. We had of course, our dairy was super busy, so didn't have a lot of time to do anything. So one day I was working on my dozer at the shop, and it slipped, and came home and told Mama we need to start looking for something else in case I get hurt. That maybe we look in the retail business. And we came in, and she told me about a store for sale in a meet. And it was a T-shirt shop. They had a clothing store also. So we ended up buying it. And it was small. And they had a small printing press in the back. And didn't take me long buying clothing to know that I didn't want to stay in that business. You're buying 6 weeks ahead or 6 months ahead of time, and you're hoping your customers are going to buy it when it comes in.
Yeah.
And I hated that four-letter word, sale.
Yeah.
Because every time I got ready to go, I had something on sale.
Yeah. Do you remember, let's back up, paint the picture. Okay, you were a dairy farmer. Mm-hmm. Your family business was a dairy farm. Mm-hmm. So you went to college for a minute.
I did.
For what?
Accounting.
And what brought you back to, I want you to tell the story as if you've never told me. So
Okay.
I want you to tell them, why did you leave college? Why did you go into dairy farming?
Okay. My dad actually got hurt, and he needed help, and of course he made it worth my while to come in and go into business with him. So I left school to help him out, and the rest was history. We were in business for probably 20 years together.
Yeah. So, Mom, do you remember the moment you saw not the beauty shop, the moment you saw, let's back up actually. You went to hair school. Can you tell us what prompted you to go to hair school? Was that something you always wanted to do? Was it something you always knew you were going to do?
Something I thought I wanted to do, and something I got tired of working for somebody else.
Yeah. And so you decided to. So I want to paint the picture here, guys. We lived in St. Helena. My their family dairy farm was across the street from where we lived. And Mom's beauty shop was literally in our garage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you converted
in the carport. Mm-hmm.
In the carport. And you did that for how long?
15 years.
15 years. And then you were just like, what prompted you to see this clothing store, to come home? Was it him saying we need to figure out another way? Did you see this and you brought it to him? Do you remember that moment?
Yes, what he just said. In case I get hurt, we got to have income coming in.
So like you randomly just drove by, saw this?
I just happened to be looking at the newspaper, and it said store for sale. And it's like, what do you think about this? Call tomorrow and check on it. And we did, and we bought it, and it's history.
So before you bought that store, did you start screen printing in the garage yet?
No, we didn't know. We didn't know anything about screen printing.
No.
So you bought the store in a meet,
Mm-hmm.
and then you realized you didn't want to be in clothing at all.
I didn't want to be in clothing. I was looking in other directions. So I took the press in the back, started learning how to screen print shirts, and started learning how to do programs or how to do artwork, and stayed up all night working, and finally learned.
Yeah. Mom, when you walked into this world of something different and unknown, how did you learn how to navigate and understand and do things?
You just learn. I mean, I didn't give up the beauty shop. We didn't give up the dairy. I would work from 5:30 a.m., close at 8 o'clock, open at 9 o'clock in a meet, come back home close at 5, start my beauty shop at 5:30, and work till 10.
And at this point, Jen was how old?
You were 2, Kelsey was 3. That puts
Jen
Jen
12.
about 10, 12 years old.
Yeah, okay. So 3 kids. You already started as entrepreneurs. Now you invested in another business to take a risk to open that, and you didn't know what the hell you were doing, but
Nope.
you just took the leap of faith. In that moment, what would you tell someone that's starting out? Because you two have 0 college degree, but you've built a thriving business in 33 years. Obviously, it has evolved with marketing and all the things that you can do now. But in that moment, I want you to like get vulnerable in the sense of like, how many times were you like, what the hell are we doing? Or
Every
can we
day.
do this? Or how did you, like, I want you to strip back the part of like confident right now and say like whatever, because I know that's probably what you're going to say right now, Dad. I want you to tell us the real crap. Like, as entrepreneurs, were you ever in the moment of like, holy shit, what are we doing? What did we do?
Every day was a challenge. You know, you face it, and I like to put it in sports perspective, I guess, is every day I get fouled, I get tackled, I get knocked around, beat up.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I've got to win, because if I win, I get to play again tomorrow. If I don't win, I'm out of business.
Yeah.
And it's really that simple. You got to work, you got to make it work, you got to make it happen.
Mom, what about you?
I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking about a customer that came in our store. She wanted white T-shirts. She wanted her letters on the shirt plaid. Can you do that, Connie? I can do that. She wanted to match her shorts that she had, that I had ordered for her. I mean, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. As soon as she walked out the door, I was like, what the hell? How do we do that? How do you print plaid? So I went to John and said, we need to print plaid. He says, how do you do that? I went, I don't know, John. Figure it out.
And back then, you didn't have the internet. Well,
No.
Google.
No.
You didn't have Google. So
No.
how did you figure it out?
We did.
I did artwork by hand back then.
So
No
like, how did you
computers,
figure it out though?
common sense.
Just that's
You look at it, you try to do it, again, you make it happen. And, you know, that's one of the situations. Another situation, I checked on a league in Hammond. I'm used to printing 40 shirts, 50 shirts. This league needed 375 shirts.
And you're still in your St. Helena
I'm still
space.
in my same one shirt at a time.
One screen print. Like your setup was not what it is, even close to remotely what it was in AB.
It was one shirt at a time on this press.
for 300 shirts. And you're like,
300
heck
shirts.
yeah, I can do this.
And how in the heck is this going to happen?
But you were so confident.
So I knew it would happen, so we made it happen. And then I went and delivered the shirts, and they asked me if I could make banners. And I said, what's that?
what is that?
Show me one. So they showed it to me. I said, of course I could do that. So I got back to the store, started making phone calls, said, John, you can do that. This is the equipment you need, and you already have it. I said, okay. So I went home and I told Mom, I said, we're going to make banners. Well, how many of those do we need to make? I said, 40. She
And
says,
she probably was like,
what in the world are you
What
thinking?
is a banner? I don't even know
How
what
do
that
we do
is.
it?
this is fascinating. Keep going.
So we did our banners, learned to do those, and then we started subbing out embroidery. Our customers were asking embroidery, so we started subbing it out to other companies, and the embroidery was always late or crooked or not sewn to our quality, and so I brought embroidery machines in. So we started embroidery. So one thing leads you to another, and the next thing you know, you're in business. You're going.
So basically what you're saying, so everybody listening to this, basically what they're saying is you listen to the problem or the needs of your consumer. And instead of saying, we don't do that, you figured out how to do that and you offered
right.
that.
Exactly.
That's
And
right.
that's how you built your business. Because, I mean, honestly, screen printing alone, embroidery alone, why not be the one-stop shop for all promotional products and everything that you need?
Right.
Too many people want to open up with what we have today. They don't realize that Shelby Clement slept on the floor on a pallet many, many, many nights for us to finish our jobs. They don't realize that. They just think, oh, I just need all the stuff. It doesn't work that way. The old saying is, you got to crawl before you walk.
It is so true. And I remember us So the original store in Amy, was that the original store you bought, the clothing store, before you
was.
expanded? Okay, so they bought this store in Amy. It was on Oak Street, right?
Yep.
Yes, it's still there. So like if you were in Amy, hey, go see it. It was just a standalone store, and then they built a warehouse to it. And in that warehouse, when y'all expanded, you built an apartment upstairs.
We did.
And I remember staying there. I remember getting there from school. I remember Monday nights we would stay late before we would drive because we lived 30 minutes from the store. So that just shows the grit and grind you have to have before just what we have now. Let's just go YouTube it or Google it and figure it out that way. And I think people look at it as the instant gratification. And you've built this over 33 years with no college degree, with grit, with 2 jobs at one time.
Multiple jobs, multiple.
Right. And so what would you say right now in this moment is your proudest moment? I'm going to ask both of you this. So, Mom, you can think on it. I'm going to ask Dad
I don't
first.
know what my proudest moment, but I do. I just told somebody just last week, I love our story. I love it. I love it from the beginning to right now. I love it. I feel like we have accomplished a lot. We've
Yeah, in 33 years.
come from here to up there.
1,000%.
I love our story. How many people can really say that when I tell them we milk cows, you milk cows? Yeah. Who says I can't milk cows? Might not look like the person that milk cows, but I do. I can. But I love our story. I do.
I think it's so fascinating that no college degree, dairy farmer, dropped out of college to go help his dad on the farm. Mom was a beautician, realized you wanted more. And you always told us growing up, like, I want you to be able to provide more for your children than we can for you. But in reality, we never went without because you worked so hard to get where you are. You instilled the work ethic in me and Kelsey, and you've built such a legacy that's amazing. So you should be proud of your story. What I want to know next is you were in A-Meat. What prompted you? Tell me from the jump from A-Meat to Hammond.
Okay, the main thing was when you're in business, you go where the people are.
Don't skip
People-
the part where you opened the smaller location first,
No, no.
okay?
You go where the people are. So you eye another market. So the A-Meat market had North Tangipahoa covered. We worked hard. We had that pretty much sewed up with our customers. So how do we get the South to drive to A-Meat? Well, you really don't, because that's your population part of Tangipahoa Parish. So you open up a small satellite store in Hammond to test the waters. So we did. It was 1,000 square foot.
I remember that store.
And at the time, we lived in Albany. Mm-hmm. We had a store in A-Meat. We had a store in Hammond. When we were in Hammond, we needed to be in A-Meat. When we were in A-Meat, we needed to be in Hammond. So we consolidated the 2 stores, and we decided to consolidate them in Hammond, where, like I said, where the population was. You're able to grow a lot better in the population areas.
Yeah. And you started in a facility or in a space that you rented out in Hammond.
We did.
And then you built. At what point did you get to the point where you were like, I just want to build my own store? I want to make that leap of faith and own what we have fully.
Well, the move from A-Meat to
We did,
Hammond
okay,
was,
but we did on the building in A-Meat.
yeah,
No, yes.
we did. But the move from A-Meat to Hammond took a little bit more than it was planning to make sure I had a place that was big enough to put all my equipment, which I already had, and be able to operate and had a storefront and that. And we found a gas station.
You did.
And
It's now the racetrack. It's now back a gas station.
it's back to being a gas station now. But we stayed there 5 years.
Yeah.
And it had a warehouse. It had 2 roll-up doors. It had office space, and we made a retail area out of the front. And we stayed there 5 years while I looked for the place I wanted to build my own business in my own building. So I designed it to where the equipment would flow, the workflow would flow real good in there, and I could fit all my equipment in there. So we built that, moved out, and then they sold the building I moved out of, and they made it a racetrack. And if you go right across from Lowe's, that's where
In Hammond.
In
Yes.
Hammond, that's where the racetrack is right now.
Yeah, and I remember y'all, like you, well, we, I don't know what I actually contribute to this, but I was older then. Bootstrapped, basically the store that you built. We stained the floors, aka you.
Mm-hmm.
We were there a lot to save money in order to open your business, to get it thrive. It just shows hard work and integrity and what you have to do to actually move. So 5 years from one location to this one, and now you've been in it for 13.
19.
And 19 years now.
I'm really bad at math. I learned that today too. 19 years. And y'all are expanding again.
We have expanded. I added on to the store, and now I bought new equipment that's going to be a game changer, another game changer.
It should be rolling in next week.
So, since we hop, skipped, and jumped over this, what is Connie's Impressions? What is Cigar Supply?
Connie's Impressions is an advertising agency. We screen print embroidery, promotional products, signs, banners, anything to do with promotion. If you've seen a logo on something, on any item, we can do that. We have done that. We specialize in it, from laser engraving, like I said, to embroidery. We're the largest in Tazewell Parish, and one of the largest in South Louisiana.
And they're good. Damn good, because they did all of DGML's stuff. You do a lot of people's stuff, but I'm just trying to reference that people actually listen. But if you have, and they don't have to be from here to utilize you.
No. We ship all over the nation.
And he's really good at pricing, especially with promotional.
Right. And we built this to be the one-stop shop.
Yes.
So if you own a corporation, you own a business, anything you own, big or small, we fit any of your needs.
Yep. So now let's talk about the marketing aspect of your business. From you being in a world where it was like, how did you market your business when you started? So how it's so different now on how you're supposed to market your business and what you need to do. So take us down memory lane of how did you get the word out? How did people know who you were? What did you have to do?
Word of mouth and newspaper.
Word of mouth. That's what it was. And it used to be the newspaper, radio, all of that really worked well. So you used all three media.
You ran an ad every week.
So can you break it down? And I don't know if you're going to remember this. Give me a ballpark. What would it cost you when y'all started to run an ad on radio or an ad in the newspaper? And did you say, holy shit, this is expensive? Or did you say, no, it is expensive, or it's something that we have to do?
Yeah, it was expensive.
It was expensive.
And you know what? It doesn't sound expensive in today's world.
Well, no, I think
it was $40, $45 for a small little bigger than a business card in a newspaper. And then you try to put ads in there or coupons in there to see how many you get back, to see if that's working.
Actually working.
That's your marketing strategy. Let's see how many people read the newspaper, how many come back to you, and you start seeing what's working, what's not working for you. Radio, you start listening to the radios and you see which ones are popular. And the problem with radios is, I'm not going to say it's not a good place to be, because it is good, but somebody has got to be listening at that moment. To get your
ad
message out, So you think, if you're driving down the road and you're not even listening, really paying attention to the radio station, all of a sudden you see hear part of an ad, you miss it.
Right.
So you've got to time that into where you think people are listening, where it's busy. It's all strategy.
Compared to now.
Now there's marketing to where you know where and when to run your ads if you're going to do radio. And again, every business is different. Radio works for some, newspaper works for others. Social media is where it needs to be. Everybody's on social media now.
How long did it, okay, let's take just a little memory for a minute. When I told y'all I was leaving corporate to do social media marketing, did you think in that moment, I don't know if they saw the documentary, they saw what you thought, but do you think in that moment, did you think this is where we actually need to be? What is Shelby doing? Is this actually where marketing is now? Honest feedback. What did you think in that moment when I left corporate to start an agency for just social media? You can go, Mom.
I just said, what the hell is she thinking?
Because you didn't understand. It wasn't that, and I say this all the time.
I didn't understand it.
It's not that they didn't support me. They didn't understand it because it is a generational gap of
It is.
what do we understand, what is the marketing medium now versus what it used to be. It's not changing of marketing and how we educate people. It's changing the medium it's on. So is it radio? Is it print? Is it social? Is it billboards? What does that look like? And so I just think it's fascinating to hear, and I want people to know, like, what did you think when I said?
Well, what I thought is I was looking into it, so I knew a little bit about it. Not a lot, but I did know a lot of it. And again, it's you go where the people are. And the people now, and at that time, were moving to social media. All right? It was moving away from TV. It was moving away from everything
Like your
else.
traditional, yeah.
And it was. And then the thing that you've been able to tap into is it's a marketing without brick and mortar. You
Yep.
know, I've got to have brick and mortar on my locations, or at that time, I'd have to open up another store. With social media, I don't have to open up a new store. I get things in, and it helps me in the really the concept of how I'm going to market.
Yeah.
You know, it just helps me out a lot.
And it opens up like the doors of like how the reach. Like you can be nationwide now or even worldwide and people know who you are and they call you for promotional products and they only know you because they saw you on social media or someone shared it or you collaborated with something in that regards. When it comes to marketing your business, how important do you find that it is?
Marketing,
Because you are advertised. Like you ultimately are someone that does marketing for people. You're branded shirts right now for you guys. You're walking billboard. Pretty much you're walking billboard.
Yeah.
How important do you tell people you need to get promotional products? You need to get merch. You need to get branded things so people can, see what you do. You need to get your logo on a moving vehicle because that's a moving billboard for you. That's everything that you do. So how would you explain how important that is to someone?
Okay. Well, let's go to a billboard. If I have a billboard, it's stationary. All right? You're paying for it by the month on a billboard.
Right.
And it's good advertisement. But if I'm doing a trailer, I'm doing a truck, and I've got to give you a rolling billboard, you're advertising everywhere you are, and even when you're working or when you're not working.
Yeah.
If let's say you're at a parking lot or a strip mall or a box store, you park it out there, you're advertising. You might be in there shopping, you might be in there getting things you need, but you're advertising because people look at it, they read it. You're going down the road.
Yeah.
That car that's in front of you, or that truck that's in front of you, that's aggravating you, that you're late for an event. All right, you look at the tailgate and they got a business name and they got a phone number and the service. You say, I need that. And you either snapshot it or you dial the number.
Yeah.
It works. Promotional products, whether it's an ink pen, whether it's a koozie, whether it's a stadium cup, you advertise to what stays around and what keeps advertising from you. The key is to think about it as you want it to turn over at least 7 times each item.
Yeah.
You don't want it to turn over 1 time. You want it to be used 7 times, and then you start getting your return on it.
Right. One thing that I love about you and that you've ingrained in our brains, number one, is you get one name, one reputation, one everything to people. So the quality of work and the way that you provide a service to people. And you touched on this in our group, I don't forgot what I did. Group meeting or group coaching program that I did here, and you came here, and the question was, how do you look at competition? And your response is, the only competition I have is me.
Myself. Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that aspect of like the way that you've kind of reframed your brain, or has it always been that way, to say like any other people are not my competition, I am my only competition?
Correct. I've always been that way. When I was driving a tractor, I was thinking about what else I could be doing to bring in income. How else, where do I need to be? How do I need to do this? What can I be doing? I'm busy now, but what can be working for me while I'm busy now?
Yeah.
So you kind of train your brain that way. You want to make sure that you're the first one up in the morning. Your competition is yourself, number one. Because if you're not doing it, somebody else is going to be doing it. Somebody's going to be seeing that customer that you'd like. Somebody's going to be striving to be their very best. Yeah. If I don't do my job, it opens the door for somebody else to come in and get my customer.
Yeah.
And if he takes my customer, let's say screen printing, all right, then I might lose the embroidery.
Yeah.
I might lose the promotional. I might lose the decals on the trailers, on everything else we do. So to wrap it up, you want that customer to come in, know that you do everything, and you can take care of his needs, and he can go about his business. Let's say you've got an event.
Yeah.
You advertise,
I was
or
about to say the same thing.
you come order from me.
Yeah.
Okay. I need this. What's going to work good? This is my event. This is where I want to be. This is who I'm promoting. So we go through and we pick an item that we think that's going to work for you. You don't want to advertise something, or you don't want a program that's not going to hit your target market. Mm-hmm. All right. So we find that out. So my job is to make it work and to make it happen by the due date. So you can go ahead and do your business and make sure that you've got your mind on what you need for your part of the event.
Yeah.
My part is already handled.
Yeah.
It's already taken care of.
Honestly, too, and to elaborate a little bit on that, if you have an event, so like it would be such a headache if you were like, Shelby, I can do your promotional, but I can't screen print your bags, or I can't do your sign. Like this year, y'all did my signage too. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, holy crap. Like it's a one-stop shop. I got promotional. I had embroidery. I had screen print. I had, what else did I have? Signage. Quite literally everything. So it's like the convenience factor for your consumer. We price checked things. We looked at things that would work for my consumer, what could go in the swag bag. For example, y'all just did ring lights. That makes so much freaking sense for my industry, because people are like, that's a free ring light that they get with my logo on it that they're going to look at every single time that they shoot a video of themselves on their phone. So like right there alone, we figured that out, and it's a genius idea. Mom, for you've always said, even though sometimes you probably regret saying this, or sometimes I say that's not accurate, the customer is always right when you're in the world that you're in. Can you elaborate on, one, why did you always ingrain that in our brain? And two, why is it so important to like understand that the customer is always right in situations?
Customer's always right, even though sometimes they might not be right, but it's not worth losing a customer. So you're just going to bend over backwards to accommodate their needs the best you can.
Yeah.
There's a
fine line.
There is a fine line. There is.
You got to remember, anybody that's out shopping for anything, I don't care if it's a pair of shoes or a service that we need, and we're looking at services that we provide, all right? They've got the money. They want things done their way. They want it to their satisfaction, and you've got to try to make that happen to the best of your ability. Yeah. So that's quality, that's turnaround, and that's pricing
too.
Okay?
Yeah.
You got three things, okay? You can get two or three, but you can't get all three 90% of the time. Yeah. You can get quality, and you can get service, all right? You can get quality, and you can get turnaround, okay?
Sometimes
you can get.
I'm like, you can do all three. Y'all do all three.
But you can get.
We're challenging you.
Okay,
with this.
but you can get turnaround, and you can get service, and the price goes up when you get everything totally. Okay, yeah. But you can't get something cheap and expect to have it on time and have good quality.
I think too, just elaborating a little bit with what you say, like I, as a consumer in general of whatever I do, I don't care how cheap you are, but if the experience sucks and your service is terrible, you're not getting my business.
You don't want it.
I don't mind going to pay extra money for a service or a product that, one, they make me feel great. They make me feel seen. They make me feel heard. Even if they don't like what I'm ordering or what I'm buying or whatever, it's kind of like that Pretty Woman moment when she walks into the store. She tries to buy these things. They don't like what she looks like, but yet she has money to spend. They gave her a bad experience. She walks back, still dressed as she is. Like, you know what I mean? Big mistake, big mistake. You cannot judge it. You have to always provide a service where they feel comfortable, experience, where they come back, where even if they are wrong, completely wrong, and you want to pull your hair out, You still have to make them feel seen and heard until an extent. I mean, now let's talk about, have you ever experienced, probably so, but have you ever experienced someone you just had to break up with? You're like, you can just take your money and like go elsewhere. What advice, Mom, directly, what advice would you give someone in business, new to business, that their consumer that's purchasing something from or they're working with is causing more stress than anything, and it would be better to break up with?
Only one I can remember is
You don't have to say their names.
I don't know their name.
Oh, okay, good.
I don't know their name. I just know Daddy looked at him and told him, I can divorce my wife and you would still not be happy. So I think it's time for you to get your stuff and find somebody else.
And how did that feel? Relief?
I mean, it was relief because, I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible. I mean, we bend over backwards. I don't care. I might go behind closed doors, all of us, and throw a fit. But we come out with a smile on our face, grin, bear it, let's go.
Yeah.
But then there's no more grinning and bearing. Sorry, I've had enough.
What advice would you give someone new to this? That's like just trying to make ends meet, or they're so scared to break up with someone in the sense of like they're scared to lose the business. Or
You lose the business, God's opened up another window.
That's, yes.
That's probably only about 3 to 5% of your jobs.
Yeah, it's
You
not
know,
many.
People are good overall.
They
You know,
really
They
are.
work with you, but again, you go back to it. They want what they want, and they're spending their money. And I like to, when I go into a store, and I'm in control, I want to be able to get what I'm looking for, and within reason. But look what and be treated like I'm appreciated to be coming in that store, because people can spend money anywhere they want.
Anywhere they want. And they come back. Retention is
that's the
like the
best
biggest thing.
Well, and let's go back a couple steps.
Yeah.
You asked me about what all we can do for our company and everything. Okay, I've got a young man picking up tomorrow. He's not really a young man, but he's a good man, and
He'll respect that you called him young. Keep
okay,
going.
but he's got a big shoot that's going on this weekend for a big oil company. All right. He called me.
I know who you're
This
talking
is
about.
what
Do I know
need.
who you're
I
talking
know,
about?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
He's
He's
picking
going to respect that you called him young. Continue.
He's picking up a lot of stuff tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. I've got his trophies and awards done for his event. I've got bags that he's ordered for the shoot. And I don't want to say a whole lot what he got, but because in case somebody's listening.
This isn't
that's
live.
okay.
This is going to launch later. So just
Okay.
tell everybody
But-
that's listening what
but
you
he's
did
got,
for him.
He's got the awards. He's got bags is for hunting. He's got signs and banners.
Caps,
He's got
embroidered
caps that's embroidered, and it's a big account. And he told me yesterday when I talked to him, he said everything of mine's ready. He says it's incredible how good y'all are and how much you got for me, and how I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I might be a little biased, but they're the best in the business. So if you need promotional, screen print, embroidery, don't wait like me and Kelsey last minute to tell them. Give them some heads up, but they will still get it done. Because, I mean, Kelsey's wedding was cutting it close. DGML year 1 was cutting it really close. Their employees thanked me this year for being a little ahead of my game. But I will say that I've always said this, even when I was at MVI, you beat pricing, you research until you find the perfect product. We tell you exactly what we want. It's always on time. If it comes in faulty, which happened a couple of times when we bulk ordered, but it was from the distributor that messed it up, not you. You handled it. Like, it was just the customer service, the care, and how we stayed with you for years when I was with that company. But that's how you were supposed to be with, customers. You're supposed to build relationships. You're supposed to want retention. It's not a one-time job.
I don't want a one-time job.
You don't want a one-time job.
I want a relationship. I don't stay in business with a one-time job, and don't think just because you get a big job, oh, I've made it. No. How can you keep them? How can you retain it?
So let's change a little bit. I want to get your perspective. I know, Mom, are you an introvert? Are you kind of like when you go out in public at a networking event? Is it him that's more outgoing? Okay, yeah, I thought so. I'm like a mix of you both. I figured I'm an introverted extrovert, and people look at me like I have 3 heads when I say that. Because when I'm anyway, irrelevant. What is the importance of getting in a room, networking, rubbing elbows, even when you don't feel like it? Like what? First off, let's go with you first. I'm gonna go.
I'm
with
not
you
comfortable with it. It's
but
right
do
up
you
his
find
alley.
it important? Do you think that it's helped
It's
along
very
the
important.
years?
It's very important.
And can you elaborate on why you feel like it's important for us to, or people listening, to get in a room?
It's hard because I don't get in a room.
Well, Dad dragged you. Okay, Dad, you answer.
Okay. You never know where your next business is coming from. All right. I could meet Shelby Clement, and she works for a company, but she's got a dad, she's got a family, she's got somebody who may need something, and the connection's made. Yeah. No matter who it is, no matter, and you never go into a room trying to figure out who's important, who's not important, because the least important is probably your more important of the bunch. When I first started out, I had a gentleman that was telling me a story, and he had the largest dozer business in the state of Louisiana. He was a state senator, and he was probably 85 years old. He loved his shop. He was retired, and he was always dirty, and he'd come to the farm, to my shop, and he helped me pick out my dozer. And then next thing you know, he's over there every day. He's working on the dozer. 85 years old. He picks up a sledgehammer, takes it out of my hand. He can do it better than I can. And I'm in my 20s or in my 30s. And I just watched this guy just in total amazement. And he said, let me tell you a story. He said, I was digging a pond in South Louisiana. And I had 3 dozers in the pond. And a storm was coming, and I had to get through with this pond. And I didn't have another dozer to put into it because they were all on other jobs. So I went to a local dealership, and I've dealt with him before, and he said, I was dirty. I had my overalls on, I had dirty shoes on, I came out the pond because I was working with the crew. He said, and I drove up, and they had about 5 guys standing out there, salesmen, and they send a young man out to me because I walk on, I'm dirty. He said, appearance. He said, so the guy looks at me and said, what can I help you with? He said, I want to see your biggest dozer. I need a dozer, and I need it today. So the guy looks at me and says, well, look, I've got a used one over here. I don't want to use one, I want a new one. So he said, is there anybody here that can help me? And he said, well, they sent me to help you. He said, okay. He says, I'll be back. Okay? Pretty woman moment. Oh, wow. Okay? So he went down the road about 10 miles. They had another dozer place there, and he had dealt there too. And he walked in, and they knew him. They recognized him. And he said, I need your biggest dozer. And he pointed at it. He said, I want that dozer. And he says, but I'm only going to buy that dozer in one condition. And they said, what's that? He said, when you load that dozer in, you're going to follow me. When I tell you to pull over on the side of the road, you're going to pull on the side of the road. Not only did he buy one dozer, he bought 2 dozers, same size, the biggest they had. You know where he pulled on the side of the road at?
The place that didn't.
The first place.
Yeah.
And he walked out, and he looked at the guys. He said, don't let appearance deal. He said, I paid cash for 2 dozers today.
It's wild that people judge a book by their cover when in reality they could be the richest. Wealthy people probably are just like they're just humans. Mm-hmm. They're humans,
yep.
And you have to treat everybody with respect. Okay, last question to wrap up. What is one? Oh, there's so many questions I have left. What is one thing that makes you the most proud as an entrepreneur? I'm gonna go with you, Dad, first, and then I want you to answer it. Go.
Okay, as an entrepreneur, is making things happen. When somebody comes to me and they've waited, and people are procrastinators, okay? I've known for 3 weeks, but I need it for next weekend. Mm-hmm. And when you can make that happen for somebody, and they're in a bind, I mean, they have to have it, they have an event, they've got to put it on. It's like putting on a show for them. Mm-hmm. Now, I've given you everything you need to make it successful. That's when we're at our best.
That's
I mean, we make things happen.
Yeah.
And I have to agree with Dad. It feels good.
When you get it done. It's stressful in the moment.
Especially
but you're
when,
like, we did that.
When they know, when nobody else can make it happen. And
it's annoying. It's annoying when they come in. I've been everywhere in town and nobody can do this. I stop. Used to, I jump on it. Now I just stop and think, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
You don't even comment on the fact
And
that
I
you've been-
don't
No, we don't
even, I
comment.
don't go up on my price. I don't, I can handle that. We can handle that.
next time.
And it feel, I didn't even know y'all were back here.
We have the equipment, we have the employees, we have anything to make it happen for you.
Yeah. Well, I think this was so fun. Do y'all have anything else you want to tell everybody? Okay, here's your unapologetic plug. Not that you're going to be apologetic about it. Like, literally, if I had half the confidence that my dad has, it's just so admirable that you're just like, hey, this is what we do. We're the best in the business. Come do it. Can you give a plug? Why they should come to you, where they should come to you, come find you, all the things. And I will put all your other stuff in the show notes where they can just click.
Yeah.
But, like, go.
Okay. The best thing I can tell you, and sounds a little cocky, but I'm confident.
It's confident.
I can make it happen for you. You know,
It's all about elbows and knees, right?
it is. It's
It is
elbows
about
and knees.
elbows and
And
knees.
I've taught my girls that from the very beginning. Elbows and knees. You can make it happen. You know, again, sports analogy, make it happen. You know, life is no different than any of that. You gotta, at the end of the day, you got to win, and it's a game.
I know it's about us today, but we are also very proud of Shelby and her DGML and all her success, and our daughter Kelsey with her home in the pasture.
I know,
They're
right?
both
Yeah.
are doing fabulous.
Well, 'cause we learned from y'all.
when you look at them, they've learned and they put it to use, and you know.
Like, look at them go.
I think the biggest thing ultimately is watching you two. Oh, I'm going to cry. Watching you two show us that anything is possible if you put your mind to it and hard work to it. And the thing that I preach the most is this. You don't have to have a degree. Obviously, you pushed us to have a degree, but look at you two. Look at where you are. Breaking small town mentality. You don't have to follow the norm. You can chase. If there's something on your heart, chase it, fulfill it, dream big, go after it. And it's so awesome to sit here across from y'all and interview you and see how far you've come. And you've always told us, like, go provide more for your kids. And I would never regret anything that you've ever given us. You've given us the world. And it's just absolutely amazing to be able to have this platform, to have this forever, to have your great-grandkids listen to it one day, to have your grandkids listen to it one day, to actually put into perspective, like, I watched my Nani and Pawpaw build something from the ground up, and they're super successful. I'm watching my mom do the same exact thing. Hell, I can do this. It's a legacy you live
Absolutely.
It's confidence. It's you instill confidence, and
And it's not something that you're going to get rich. We live comfortable. We don't go without. Y'all didn't go without. But too many people want to open up a business and get rich. Open it up today and be rich tomorrow. It don't work that way.
It's a lot of ups and downs. It's a lot of how the hell are we going to do this?
I can't go on that trip because I have to stay and work.
It's a lot of things that, and I think I get this from you. It's like, well, you're going to figure it out. You just have to figure it. There's no other alternative than you have to figure it out.
Exactly.
well, most businesses fail because they make a big sale, and they think that's their money. That is not their money. That is company money. You've got to pay your bills, your employees, your insurance,
Your
your
product.
phone, your product, and it may be a little while before you get another big check. Okay, so that when you spend that money, you're going to fail. You've got to be conservative, and if you're conservative for 10 years, then you can buy whatever you want.
Yeah. This was so good. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting us.
All right, everybody, we'll put everything in the show notes. Y'all, if you do promotional products, screen print, embroidery, if you live literally in a different country, they will figure out how to ship it to you. Anybody in the United States, whoever you're using, stop using them. DM me. I will give you their contact. You are going to start ordering from them because they're the best, obviously. But if you like this episode, please like, comment, share, leave us a review. And until next time, let's freaking get it. And that's a wrap on another episode of Damn Good Marketing Podcast. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you comment, review, share it with a friend. Come back next week. And until next time, let's freaking get it.